There's the moon. The full moon over Notre Dame. I want to say good morning, but the sun hasn't risen yet. So we just saw a group of pilgrims going out to go to Mass at the Holy Sepulchre. Taxis are running already. There go the pilgrims. Let's catch up to the pilgrims, Jan. This morning I'm not alone. Providence gives us company in life. Gives us partners in business and work. Gives playmates to children. We're not alone. And yet we're deeply alone as well, in the sense that we have an extraordinary, unique relationship with God, which then again is not loneliness, it's being with God, but it's me. Maybe we can cross the light here to gain a minute. So we're just catching up to our pilgrims. But we're actually going to let them off to pray for us in the Holy Sepulchre as we go here, crossing the tracks. And we're going to go all around the walls. Here's the new gate, about 130 years old. Notre Dame, the French hospital. And here we go. And this is my buddy here this morning, Pastor Jan. You know him very well from the Netherlands.
Good morning.
Pastor Jan Barnes spends a lot of time here in the Holy Land, and we're on our way. This is the De La Salle School. We often see it from the rooftop in Notre Dame. That's where I usually do live streams in the morning. But today we're going this way. Just a crazy idea entered my mind. Also partially combined with the reading we have today in the Psalm, the first reading from Zechariah. And actually here it's interesting, we're going to see all these pious Jewish people coming here behind the tram, and of some over here as well. City Hall. The chief rabbinate is over there under, let me see, help you here. You see those red lights in the distance? That's a big hotel there right beside the chief rabbinate of Israel. So here we go. And it's Sukkot, so I wonder what they're carrying today, Jen. They all have some special thing with them.
A lulav.
A lulav. Oh, that's one of those plants, right?
No, it's a long branches.
A branch.
Of three kinds.
Three kinds. Tell us, explain it to us.
It's a during Sukkot, during the Feast of Tabernacles, those three branches who symbolize the harvest.
This is the lulav.
Yes.
And they symbolize the harvest, Jan, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Tell us more. Tell us, you're an English speaker, right?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from New York.
Do you mind if I show your face on the camera?
I'd rather not.
Okay, it's okay. It's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
fine.
problem.
So can you just explain, may I take this a second?
Sure.
Can you explain what's in
There
here?
are
This
three
is a
different-
lulav.
There's the lulav, and then there's also the myrtle branches.
The myrtle.
The myrtle?
Yeah, and
The willow, right?
are from the willow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get that acoustically, so I think our live stream listeners didn't get it either. So can we just say those words slowly?
You have the lulav, which is from the palm tree.
The palm tree is the lulav,
And
okay?
you have the hadassah from the myrtle branches.
The myrtle branches.
And the aromat are from the willow branches.
The what?
Willow branches.
Willow.
Yeah.
Willow.
Yes.
Willow, myrtle, and palm. And is there a particular meaning associated with each one?
There are various meanings given.
May I ask your first name, just to have a name?
Yitzchak.
Yitzhak, Isaac.
Yeah.
Yitzhak.
So you have the one there. They're supposed to represent part of the parts of the human body. The lulav representing the spine
Okay.
of the person, and the myrtle branch representing the eyes. And
The eyes.
I mean, if you look at them, they look pretty much like eyes.
Okay, I get you.
You look at the
shape
leaves.
of them. Let's stop for a second just to get that clear. Okay. Okay. And the third one, the
And
willow.
the willow is for the mouth. Also,
mouth.
the long leaves.
So we have the spine, the mouth, and the eyes.
And then there's also the fourth.
The fourth one?
species, which is the etrog, which is the citron.
Okay, the lemon.
It's
Yeah.
from the lemon family.
Okay,
Large.
Some of them are big, some of them are small. That's it in the bag.
Okay.
Get out now.
It smells beautiful.
It smells beautiful.
wonderful, wonderful.
So that's meant to represent the heart.
The heart.
Yeah.
Ah, lovely. Excellent. So we have the spine and the heart and the mouth and the eyes.
Right. So you bring the idea is you bring them all together in front of God. It's like bringing yourself in
The
front
whole
of God.
person.
Right.
It's getting your act together in modern American lingo.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's after the harvest, and obviously after the whole year. It's at the turn of the cycle.
We're in the new year now.
So it's both looking back on the past and looking forward to
The
the
harvest
future
and the
of
hope.
of the winter.
Gratitude and hope.
Yeah.
Where are you from, Yitzhak?
Originally from New York, and now I live here in Jerusalem.
What's your daily chore?
I study. I study Talmud. I study.
What's your goal with all the study?
Your yeshiva
In
students?
yeshiva, yeah.
In the yeshiva.
There's the goal of knowing or appreciating how God looks at the world.
Okay,
That's the primary goal.
fantastic.
And then there are various, there are various. You become a rabbi, you could do this, you could do that, but that's really the primary goal. Is not.
Yeah, it's God Himself, to love God with all your heart.
Exactly.
Fantastic. I like it. I like it. I think it's wonderful. Some people are a little critical, but I think it's great when we can have that appreciation for God in life and make time. I think that's a great blessing.
Where are
Wonderful.
you guys from?
Netherlands and Ireland.
Very nice.
We're going to not go through here. We're doing all the walls. We're walking all around the walls.
Okay, fine. Enjoy
Yitzhak,
yourselves.
thank you very much. God bless you. Chag Sameach. So that was a nice encounter we hadn't planned. We couldn't
very
plan it
nice.
better.
Very nice.
And here we're at the Jaffa Gate, and we've just walked by the Latin Patriarchate, which is inside the walls there. And here we have the David Citadel. And here we have these families going to the Western Wall. And a lot of cloud this morning. Apparently there was a little rain last night. We're going to take the big loop all around the walls, okay? We left just shortly after the bells. We didn't hear them, unfortunately. The live stream hadn't clicked in. And then we're going all around the walls this morning. Very special for you. This is the remains of Herod's palace, Herod the Great. So maybe here the wise men, the kings at the birth of Jesus in Matthew's Gospel, maybe they had their nice reception here with Herod. Maybe we should go outside these people. It's amazing, all those kids up so early in the morning going to the Western Wall. The old walls of Jerusalem. We're going to go all around the walls, people. Hopefully, that's the goal.
And there are right now 10,000s of foreigners, pilgrims now in the city because of the Feast of Tabernacles. And tomorrow they will have the March of the Nations. And there's a big procession going through the city of all of Christian believers who want to fulfill, from Zechariah, that which says that all the nations will come to Jerusalem and during the Feast of Tabernacles.
So I hope you heard Jen acoustically there about it's actually today's reading from Zechariah about all the nations coming to Jerusalem. Just another geographical detail, as we walk around the walls, you can see some raw rock underneath the walls here. We may get to see it a little better in another spot. But also on our right, we are walking actually right now through the valley of Gehenna, on the edge of the valley of Gehenna, which starts back there, and it accompanies all this western wall of the city of Jerusalem, and also then down into the south by Mount Zion. There's the elbow on the Gehenna Valley around Jerusalem, and depending on the way this road goes, we're going up or down a little bit, where we're looking into the Gehenna Valley right here, which was associated with very many evil deeds condemned by the prophets. And
children offerings.
exactly, children offering.
Part of things, as a matter of fact, things that happen even now with the high abortion rates. That evil is still there.
This is not brick, people, this is rock. Jerusalem walls built on the rock.
And the lower parts are from the times of Herod.
Yes, the Lord, the stones.
The lower stones.
Yeah. Well, a lot of this was redone by the Ottomans.
Yes.
In the fear of the threatened crusade by Charles V. So the world powers always want to have a say in these places, and that's still the case today. That's the way humanity works. So we can get a better little view into the Gehenna Valley here before we turn toward the east. Right now we're actually walking southward along the western wall of, here's a little map in Hebrew and Arabic and English. So we're looking westward at the city, or looking out from the city. The famous windmill is just across here. You can see it over there. And since I'm here with the Dutchman, we have to focus on the windmill.
It was, a matter of fact, restored by a Dutchman 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
It was in very bad shape.
So there's the windmill. And this was the first neighborhood that was built outside the walls. And the walls are very important in ancient times. They're the security. And then we had a reading the other day where the prophet sees Jerusalem with so many peoples coming, and he even says animals, that they'll be all outside the walls. There's not enough room for them in the walls. Hey, this is all wet here. I'm not sure if the wet that's here is from the irrigation, which is very possible. There's a lot of irrigation here because they keep this very green, which is quite the ordeal in a climate like this. But I'm not sure if it's a remnant from the rain last night. As much as we desire rain here, I would like that we stay dry this morning as we do this live stream for you.
We will.
Walking around the walls of Jerusalem. Traffic jam here for some reason. This looks like a garbage truck, and there are cars parked here. So now we're taking a swing. We're going to head eastward along the southern wall. We came northward. You can actually see, trying to figure out what that is. Oh, that's the David Citadel that's sticking up there in the distance, I think. Is that the David Citadel? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and there you have the Franciscan Tower right across from Notre Dame, so you can understand how we're doing this. And then we have the moon still up there. We're more or less saying goodbye to that now. I'm not sure if we'll be seeing the moon again this morning. And now we're heading here eastward. If you're ready for the steps, if not, we can call the elevator, or we can call the helicopter for you if you cannot walk with us. This is interesting. Ascent. Where is it? Ascent to Zion. Zion is a biblical name for Jerusalem. And actually we're right now going up to Mount Zion. And this actually location in itself is not the original Mount Zion, because the Mount Zion of the Psalms is clearly the temple. Mm-hmm. And where we are now is clearly not the temple. But because of the events that happened here in Christian memory, then the period of, obviously the Byzantine period and onward through the Crusaders, this was very fixed in Christian memory as Mount Zion. And they even built the cenotaph of David here. It's a Crusader period structure, remembering what they understood to be the burial place of David, which, however, the Bible says is on the eastern hill, so it would have been in another location. And here we can see some of the little openings in the walls. Look at this up here. And there's plenty of space for two soldiers to stand in behind those windows and point their arrows out at invading armies. Humanity has that logic.
All the castles in Europe were made after this idea.
Mm-hmm. That was the technology of the time,
Yes.
the military manner of the time. So here we're coming up now to the gate called Mount Zion Gate. And at this point over on the right here, we'll be able to see it at some point in our walk. We have the Last Supper room. And underneath is the memory of King David, because Jesus was son of David. And that's obviously a very clear thing. And then the Crusaders were coming politically also as a kingdom. So the model of David the king was important, and of course of Christ as king. And this is the Armenian convent of the Savior. And here you can see the Dormition Church. This might be the best place to see it through the grill here. And the tower there beside the upper room. And then an Armenian cathedral that's in ruins in here. Goodbye, doggy. Armenia today should be also part of our prayer. They're going through a tremendous crisis, and in political crisis and human rights crisis, in major conflict also with Islamic people, a lot of history in that relationship, very difficult history. And we human beings oftentimes have to work through very difficult history. We just stop for a second here just to take stock of the gate of Mount Zion, which also bears the marks of conflict, even from maybe some of our viewers can
66.
well, even be 66, but also before that, 1948.
Yes.
So these are the history of humanity, the need we have for redemption. And when God says he wants to build up Zion again in the reading today, to be a faithful city, a city where Abel can live and Cain won't kill him. And so humanity struggles always with these major tests. I think we're going to try and go down, stick close to the wall here. Jan, what do you think?
Right.
We're leaving Peter and Gallicanto over in the trees there. We'll get maybe a view of it as we go down closer to the road again.
There were the rooster was crowing.
Yes. Do you have my phone? Oh, yes, you do.
Yes, I have your little phone.
Yeah, I just wanted to check for the time here. 6:20. So we have another 10 minutes before sunrise, or even 15. And with all the cloud, who knows? Well, we'll just keep going, because this is a very unique opportunity to walk all around the walls of Jerusalem. And we never did that before, so I hope, you know, it's obviously a longer adventure today. It's not the normal 15-minute live stream. And
It's fantastic.
now we're standing here in front of a little hill that's covered with a grove. And this hill is a very important hill. It's the end of the Mount of Olives chain, and we'll see that later. And then we have another hill over here in the distance behind the immediate trees, and that's called the Hill of Evil Counsel.
The United Nations has their
Well, their first reason for that was
Yes, I know.
obviously
David's.
the association with the condemnation of Jesus.
Yes, and even before that,
Before that,
David who had to flee for his son Absalom.
yes. Well, he fled up the Mount of Olives, didn't he?
Well, but the Achitophel was there on that.
The what?
On the, you know, there were two counsels that David could have.
Okay.
One good and one bad.
Okay, he could get good advice or bad advice.
Yeah, good advice and bad advice. And so Absalom listened to the bad advice.
Absalom.
Absalom listened to the bad advice to the advantage of his father, David,
Okay.
who was betrayed by his own son.
Right, right. That's so sad.
Yeah.
Father betrayed by son. You know, there's a lot of brokenness in humanity, in the family. This is an interesting dig. In fact, I have a great memory of this because I participated in this dig before ever we found our excavations in Magdala with a team from North Carolina. And it's come a long way. I haven't seen it now for a while, and it's interesting to see the development of the dig. And what's fascinating here is that the policy of this dig is very open-minded, and they want to they set store on every level, and they want to keep some of every level, so it's not ideologically reduced to one particular interest. And when I was there, actually, there was a Byzantine period mosaic found. That was early in the dig. I'm not sure if it was the first or the second year. And now it's very walled in. Before it wasn't even walled in. Here they have this fence that's pretty serious. So it's not easy to access it. And that's important because that site has a lot of riches in it. Oh, there's a little information about it here, I think. The University of North Carolina at Charlotte has been conducting archaeological excavations at this location for more than a decade. And I'm not sure when this sign was put up because this sign is older.
Second Temple period. Wow.
Yes.
And then the Byzantine, and then the Islamic period.
Right.
Wow. And then even medieval.
Yes, and Ottoman time.
Ottomans, yes. Wow.
So there's, it's obviously a key spot in the logistics here because you have this whole valley, and we're now skirting also the Gehenna Valley, which terminates into the Kidron Valley, toward which we're headed right now. That's why we're dropping into the, and there was actually another valley, the Cheesemakers. What was the name of the valley here? On the west side of the temple. But that got completely filled in with the construction. Two boys there together.
We'll say fire here.
Friends.
Brush fire. You smell it still.
Yeah, it's a recent one, a recent brush fire here. Maybe it was a way to clean it up, or maybe it was unintentional and it caused some damage. It was not so intended. So we're going to be back out on the road again, and then we'll be able to see more things as we walk around the walls of Jerusalem. Oops, I'm just after losing my reading. No, I have it here.
Boker Tov.
Boker Tov. Policemen in every society, police keeping order, hopefully, and good-hearted and honest. The Lord will build up Zion again and appear in all his glory. This is the line from the Psalm. And it's the Psalm, let me tell you the number, it's Psalm 102. And this is obviously a wild tree that's grown up here, and lots of birds nesting in the tree. And there we can see Peter in Gallicantu. We mentioned earlier that church there that has also a dungeon underneath it with a horrible torture chamber. So we are here now, and we have walked around from the Newgate corner from Notre Dame over here, and we've walked all around here, and now we're here, and we're going to walk down around the Temple Mount and then up here on this side and back to Notre Dame. That's our goal. How are you doing, Jan? Holding up?
Oh, fantastic.
And this hill over here was where Solomon's wives had their false worship. He had married wives that weren't from God's people, and that brought in a false worship into the people, and it's often understood to be part of the root of the problems then of the decay and the civil war that would come. And now we're getting a good view of the Mount of Olives little by little, and also El Aqsa Mosque is in the center of our view. We can see it from here in this perspective. That's the southernmost dome on the Temple Mount, and we're going to see that quite a bit now as we go along with this. This is our first moment to view it. And this is Silvan, East Jerusalem, primarily Palestinian population, and we're walking along the city of David. We can maybe go over there and we can get a view in there. Might be a good idea.
I can see whether my wife still sleeps there in the hotel.
Aha.
Across the
Okay, Jan is staying in the hotel across there.
So, saying hi.
I'm trying to pull up out of my memory that the name of that hill there where Solomon's wives had their fall. We're looking into the Kidron Valley here. And that
In that direction is the Dead Sea there. Huh?
yeah, the Dead Sea is straight out, exactly. And today it's so cloudy we cannot see the mountains of Moab and Jordan. And there we have the Hill of Evil Counsel. And then we have the Mount of Olives back here. And you can see the little tinges of sunrise coming. But obviously limited today by so much cloud. And then we have another little angle, a little more distance from the walls. And we always love flowers in the sunrise stroll and chat. So we've gotten our share of each day. Not sure if we'll get a glimpse of the Dome of the Rock. Let's see what will be possible. Oh yes, there it is already. Imagine just mentioning it and there it shows up in the corner. Look at that. The Dome of the Rock. That was our screen photograph yesterday for the Instagram post. So people, those of you who have just joined us, we're walking all around the walls of Jerusalem in almost one fell swoop. I want to do the last piece on Instagram so that the good Instagram followers will get a taste of the action. And between the two posts, then those of you who have that access, you will have the whole walk. These people probably have finished praying at the Western Wall. And here we're approaching the Dung Gate. How many gates have we done? We started at the New Gate, then we came to the Jaffa Gate, then we had Mount Zion Gate, and now the Dung Gate, because the refuse would be taken out to the Gehenna Valley for burning or whatever. And that sounds like an electric car. So there the El Aqsa Mosque looms high. And here we can peep in through the Dung Gate. Maybe I'll just cross the road there, Jan, and see that for a second. Just to peep in without a long delay, because our task is other today. This is the breach of the walls we'll make this morning on our walk. I don't think we'll be making any other breach. So there we have the Western Wall, just this side of the big minaret over there. The one on the left. I don't think we're going to do much more, but since the Western Wall is so important. Beregel, taxi L11. So there we have the Western Wall over there. I think we leave it like that for today, and then we will keep going. sunrise is coming slowly. Somebody is tired after a hard day's work.
You know why our Jewish friends are running?
Uh-huh.
Because they say, I asked them, I said, why are you guys running when you come to the Western Wall, to the Kotel? They said, well, we need to show the joy of going to the house of the Lord.
Beautiful.
So machti be'omri bet Adonai nelech. I was happy when they told me, let's go to the house of the Lord.
Yes. And that's also one of the reasons it's given for why they're always moving while they're praying.
Yes. Yes.
Every bone in their body
Everything
rejoices.
is worship. The
whole being.
The whole being, yes.
So today we have a special reading in the Gospel, which is a liturgical commemoration of the guardian angels. And we have the guardian angels from the book of Genesis taking Lot out of Sodom. And we have them visiting these three mysterious beings who visit Abraham in Mamre. And then we have them with Jacob.
Reading and running.
Yes.
That's an art.
Yes, reading and running. So we have them then all through the book of Daniel, angels, and then we have Psalm 91, and God says He will provide us with angels to watch over and guard us on all our ways. So that has become a staple piece of Jewish and Christian understanding. And then when we go to St. Paul, he says the battles we face in this world are not just with what we see in the physical world, but it's between in the spiritual world. We're part of a bigger scenario. The conflict, the inner conflict that we often wage is more complex and with very major forces at work. So when we look at somebody that's leading a war that seems very unjust, and we can think that maybe that person is also under a very bad influence.
See, 3 more gates there. The Hulda gates.
The Hulda gates, yeah. So we have...
they are closed now, you know.
Right. The prophetess Hulda.
Where the pilgrims would go in, where Jesus would have gone in, and even Peter and John standing at that gate, you know, with the man that was begging and hoping for some money, and then he said, silver or gold I don't have, but what I have I give to you.
Yes.
Jesus, stand up and rise.
Yes, yes. So now we have done the Hulda gates as well. There we have another view of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And now this area also would be the pinnacle of the temple. Here a turret on the southern wall.
Yes.
And it's quite a drop over there. Jump from the pinnacle of the temple. And actually that's also another text where even the devil quotes the scripture.
Yes.
And he says,
he quotes half.
and do not be afraid, the angels will hold you up.
Will hold you up and carry you.
So let's cross over here. I always like to go on the other side here for a moment so we can get a good view into the Gehenna Valley, and actually also the Kidron Valley, the Kidron Valley and where the Gehenna Valley comes in there. So here we have the Kidron Valley, which also figures in the Gospel account at the Last Supper, and Jesus crosses the Kidron Valley over to Gethsemane. And here we have then where the Gehenna Valley comes in, over there at the bottom to the Kidron Valley. So I'm not sure how much of a sun disk we will see this morning, maybe by the time we get on Instagram. We won't go down into the Kidron Valley now. We're going to stay focused on our task of... We've got the moon up there still. We thought we wouldn't see it again, but it's up there behind the clouds. And now it's completely... yeah, though, it's still up there. I had wrongly focused. But not clear. The clouds are covering it. Now we're approaching the area of Gethsemane as well. We can see the Mary Magdalene Church across the Kidron Valley. This is your hotel here, is where you're staying.
Yes.
There's where John woke up this morning. Maybe his wife is waving at us. Or maybe she's immersed. Maybe she's immersed in some deeper dreams. And now we're coming into the area of burials.
There's a beautiful path going down.
Right.
With Absalom's tomb.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to escape on that now.
Yes, of course. We're going to follow
I think
the wall.
Oh, here it is. Here's that path exactly. This is where it starts.
There's a tent down there which provides coffee and so on. Very nice. See, there's a tomb of Absalom.
Yes.
All those graves there.
This
every
is the
every Jew wants to be buried here.
Yes. And that's related to the prophecy of Joel, chapter 4, that this will be the valley where God comes to judge. Jehoshaphat.
And it's according to Zechariah, Mount of Olives is a place where...
I wonder if we can go through there. I was
you
able
can.
to do before. Okay, let's do that then. We're going to go through them. Well, just 1 second before we go up. I want to do one more spot here. And you have, although we won't see it from here, but just around the corner in front of Gethsemane is the Christian burial in Gethsemane. And now we're going to walk through the Muslim graveyard, close to the walls, because it saves us a little distance. We'll be hugging the walls more tightly. And you know, it's amazing how we're all united in that mystery of death. All of us, whatever faith we are, and without faith, we all have to face that terminal moment of our earthly lives. This has been done up pretty well.
Very nice.
For the access. And here you can see the Herodian period stones. The characteristic of the Herodian period stones is that
The lower ones.
they cut on the periphery of the stone all around the perimeter. And then obviously that's more recent work up here because of
Repair work.
breaches in the walls. But the main restoration of the walls happened then under Suleiman about almost 500 years ago. Now we're gaining a little height.
There's the Dominus Flevit.
Yes, indeed. Dominus Flevit is here. We can actually also see the tower of Our Father Church. This is
Lord
Dominus.
wept over Jerusalem.
And the architect designed it like a tear. That's one of, or a tear bottle. There you hear both interpretations.
Yes.
And then up here we have the tower of the Our Father Church from this perspective. Oops, sorry. There. It's a very interesting spot built on the site of the Eleona, the church built by Helena, St. Helena, the mother of Constantine, on the Mount of Olives for the Ascension. Then the memory of the Ascension from the Crusader period is just up the road a little bit from there, where the pilgrims go today. So obviously the sun has risen by now, I presume, or almost. But the cloud is, yeah, it's 6:40, so the sun has definitely risen over the hills of Moab, east of the Jordan River. And we pray that all of these souls may rest in peace and may be received by the Heavenly Father forever. In fact, it's interesting because on the 2nd of November, we particularly remember that fact of our termination of life. And a couple of years ago, I did a live stream here on that day, and I focused on the 3 graveyards, on the Jewish burial and the Christian burial and the Muslim burial grounds here in the valley. Hey, do you hear the bells? Where are they coming from? From the Gethsemane, from the Mary Magdalene?
That's the Russian church.
The Russian church.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
past one, you know?
Yeah. So Jan tells me there's for sure from the Russian church, because acoustically it doesn't seem to come from the Franciscan Gethsemane Church of All Nations. Sabah al-Khair, Kif halkum.
The Golden Gates. The Gates of Mercy, right?
Yes. Maybe that young man is mourning a family member. And that's something we all have to face at different moments of our lives.
Yeah, the fast one.
The Russian Orthodox bells. The church has a lot of different connections. It's dedicated to Mary Magdalene, so it's dear to our hearts, and it shows Mary Magdalene in front of Emperor Tiberius and complaining about how Pilate miscarried justice and the trial of Jesus. So let's stop for a second just to see the Church of Gethsemane. This is a good place to look at it more closely. Such a beautiful, magnificent Church of All Nations. And the rock in there is a very interesting place where there's a memory of Jesus' agony in the garden. And what's very interesting historically is that the Byzantine church was there, and then the Crusader church was there, and now we have the modern day church there. And there are pictures, I've seen pictures of this location with nothing but olive trees. So who knew when they went to work that they would find the Crusader remains and the Byzantine church remains, and the 2 floors were a little off. The Crusader one was not perfectly on the axis of the Byzantine one, whereas the present day church is built on the Byzantine period layout of the church design. And so here we have then the Mary Magdalene Church, and then Dominus Flevit here, and then up behind the trees now out of view we can see some of the monastery of the Carmelites and the Our Father Church, and then right up behind the Mary Magdalene Church, more or less in that straight line up, we have the Tower of the Ascension, which we will see later on. And then we have the Church of Stephen the Martyr. It's a Orthodox, Greek Orthodox church, because one of the names of the second next gate is precisely Stephen's Gate, because of his martyrdom there. And here we're at the Golden Gates of the city, which are also closed like the Hulda Gates. The tradition says the Messiah would enter here on his return. inside these Golden Gates is the location of the Dome of the Rock. And many think that's the location of the original temple, although there are other scholarly opinions at variance with that understanding. So we've come quite a ways. I'm not sure, we've done about 40 minutes.
About 2/3, I think, of the wall.
Or more. No, I would say, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're right, you're good. Yeah, we'd have to get to the corner over here to have 3/4, but actually the walls then have very varying length. Like the western wall is very short compared to this eastern one. And maybe the northern and southern walls coincide a little more. Then we have the Tower of Hebrew University over there in the middle of that lit up sky part in our picture. And then we have the, not in view, the Lutheran Tower, Augusta Victoria, named after the wife of Kaiser Wilhelm. And now we have the spire of the Church of the Ascension of the Russian Orthodox in on the Mount of Olives, and that's also beautifully illuminated at night time.
It's always an awesome view.
Pope John Paul II had a beautiful concept of the world as an expanding graveyard awaiting the resurrection of the dead. When the trumpets will sound and we will be called forth from our graves to rise again in our bodies for eternal glory.
And the angels will sound the trumpets, right?
And the angels will sound the trumpets.
So we talked about the angels this morning.
Exactly. Very good. And now we're almost at the Sheep Gate, Stephen's Gate, the Lion Gate, St. Mary's Gate, St. Anna's Gate. There are 7 different names here. Wow. The Sheep Gate because of the sacrifice of the sheep for the temple, and the pools of Bethesda, which are inside this gate. And the Lion's Gate simply because these lions are up here on the walls. And the Lion of Judah, a Davidic theme. So here we have this gate, and then we have traffic coming up to here, and this is a steep hill from Gethsemane. And now let's complete the eastern wall and we'll get some more views of the Mount of Olives. And I think then in a few minutes we'll conclude the Facebook transmission of Sunrise Stroll and Chat, and we will have done 3 walls with this, but being on the northeastern corner we'll have a, and that will allow us to give our Instagram followers a little share, a fair share of the morning's joy. Well, there I see the Tower of Augusta Victoria peeping up. We get a bit better view, we can zoom in, and the Tower of the Ascension now is zooming more clearly, emerging. Look at the rock here. I wonder if that's rock or no, that's artificial. That's a cast, that's cement. Right. Supports for the wall. This is a great treasure for humanity. and obviously requires vigilance and maintenance so that future generations and centuries, and maybe in God's plan millennia, will have the joy of this memory to strengthen them on their path. Assalamu alaikum. So now we have, well, I think we'll wait for I noticed the battery is going down, so I must keep some for Instagram. But we'll get a better, clearer view of the Mount of Olives from the corner over here, the north-east corner of the city.
Maybe just make it till the Harrods Gate.
Well, we do the Instagram then from...
No, I mean your battery.
Oh, the battery, yeah. Yeah, I think it should, because it's at 20% now or 19%.
Oh, okay.
So, but the warning has come on.
Pretty good though.
Yes. And I didn't have a full one starting it. We started with about 53 or 54%.
Well, for a great-grandfather, I'm doing still fine.
Say again?
For a great-grandfather...
You're a great-grandfather, give me a break.
I am.
You got married
Yes.
twice a great-grandfather.
Yes.
Good for you.
Yes.
Good for you.
One of my granddaughters and one of my grandsons
Wow.
will have... One has a baby and one is almost there.
So how many children do you have, you're blessed with, Jan?
10.
10 children.
10 children.
You and me. And
No,
then
I'm sorry. 4 children.
Four
and
children.
10, and all married, and 10 grandchildren.
10 grandchildren, 4 children, 10
I
grandchildren.
should not overdo things, you know.
Yeah, no need to exaggerate. You got a great story. Let's check here. I haven't been over in this spot. Assalamu alaikum. And I wanted to get to the spot of the lookout, but maybe we can do it from up here. I have never been up on this very concrete spot. And we're at the corner of the walls. And now we have very clear in view the Tower of Hebrew University, which was founded over about 100 years ago. And then the Augusta Victoria Tower. And then from this point here, of this memorial, I don't see the dedication theme. Then we have, this is probably a theme for the cemetery, but I'm not sure. And then we have the Ascension Tower, and also that's the Russian Orthodox Ascension, probably the highest point in Jerusalem for views. And then we have the minaret at the site of the Ascension, where we remember today where visitors, pilgrims visit. And we have the impact of sunrise on the clouds here. And so I think we'll sign off here. What do you say, John?
What?
Are you able to stand up here so we'll do our selfie moment? And we thank everybody for joining us. This was a record, an unusual record of walking around Jerusalem. Pastor Jan from the Netherlands. And we greet you and wish you many blessings. You wanted to give a closing word here, Jan?
Well, have a real blessed day, and just remember, God sent His angels around us.
Very good. So that's wonderful. See you later, alligators. God bless you.